Okay, so good evening to all. So this session we will be covering an introduction to pandas. So last session in Python we covered NumPy, or called numerical Python, which is one particular library that gives us an array like CPP or C type of arrays like thing in Python, which should be like a optimized way to do all the operations using similar to arrays that we do in C. Now this session we will go to one other library called pandas, which is like a short form for panel data. So this is actually a high level data manipulation tool, which is actually built on top of other libraries like NumPy, Matplotlib, etc. And the advantage of this is it is very easy to import and export data using pandas. So basically we are doing data science, right? So the data science is basically based on data, and so we need some tool with which we can easily process or draw inferences from our data, or to use it for certain other purpose. So what are all those? Even for feeding it to some machine learning algorithm, for things like that, I need to have some container for my data. So basically pandas provided some features which will aid us in doing that. So pandas has two important data structures. One is called a series, and second one is called data frame. So we will be going in detail. So I'll be sticking mostly to the basics. There are some advanced parts, so that I have provided links here. So I will not be covering that because we will be spending more time on the basics only. Because that advanced things we will be using when we go to machine learning courses and all. And even our material covers that in pretty much detail, so that is enough. Once you get the basics strong, you will be able to easily get that. So I will be mostly covering the parts which will be like confusing to beginners, or which you might not be familiar, or changes from whatever normal Python thing that we did. So things like that really I'll be mostly focusing on. So pandas library, we will be using an alias called PD. So PD here stands for this whatever panel data, panel and data, first letters PD. So that is what you will find in any code which is using pandas. It will be imported mostly using alias as PD. So we'll go through series. So series is actually a one-dimensional array containing a sequence of values of any data type, int, float, list, string, etc. And which by default have numerical data labels starting from 0. So you need not worry about this. We will see an example to detail that. So what it means that I'll compare to a NumPy array. There I will be having elements 0, 1, 2, 3. So in a Panda series, in addition to the elements, I'll be having an index also corresponding to the values which I am having in my array. And the data label associated with a particular value is called its index. And as already told, it will have by default the numerical data label starting from 0. But we are at our we can give whatever values we want as the index. And if you imagine something like an Excel, the Panda series is like a column in that Excel sheet. So now we will see how to create a series, what we can do with it, how to access different data, how to slice it, index it like that. Similar to what we did with NumPy or earlier with the Python normal list. So like that we will try to do with some series. So we will see some 5-6 ways to in which I can create a series. As already told, whatever I am making is a one-dimensional array. So basically my input that I pass to series will be one-dimensional. For example, if you see this, here I am passing a list having 3 elements 10, 20, 30 to a constructor function pd.series. So basically I am passing a list with elements 10, 20, 30 to a constructor pd.series. So pd, as I already told, is the alias for panel data, and series is the name of my structure. And series are in data frames are two structures that I have in pandas, which I am most commonly using. So if I create this, so I'll just remove, clear all outputs and start. Okay. Okay, so if you see a series code created, and in that I got the elements 10, 20, 30. But in addition, I got as an additional index, which is a default one with values 0, 1, and 2. So I will not worry about this much. Later when I go to index part, we will see this in more detail. Now similarly, as I told, the 0, 1, 2 are default values. If I want to have the index as something else, I can pass that along with my constructor function as index argument. The only thing to note here is that if you do like this, the number of elements in the list as well as the number of elements in the index inside the index field should be same. So if you do like this, again you will get a Panda series having elements as you told here Kavi, Shyam, Ravi with the index that you passed as an argument to the constructor function. So 3, 5, 1 instead of the default 0, 1, 2 here. So now again there is no restrictions like the index should be numeric. So even you can have a string as the index. So in this case, if you see 2, 3, 4 is my data and I am using index February, March, April. I can use anything here depending on my use case. I can have anything. So this example tells me that there is no restrictions like my index should be numeric type. It can be numeric or it can be any other type. And coming to next example, this 3 examples we saw with the list, normal Python list. Now suppose I am having an NP array which is having values 1, 2, 3, 4. Same way I can actually pass it to my same pd.series constructor to create my series. So that also will create my one-dimensional array in the same way along with the default index since I have not passed any other index. Same as what we followed earlier. Even in this case, I can pass some values to the index. So that way my index instead of the default 0, 1, 2, 3, my index will be Jan, Feb, March, April in that case. And now we saw with the list NumPy array. Then another data structure that I am having in Python are what? Dictionary. So if I am having a dictionary like that, so basically if you think like this, I have passed some values here and I am telling index. So when you do like a dictionary to a series, what happens is that it will automatically take the keys as the index and the whatever is in my values part in my dictionary will get mapped to the value part of the series. So basically same if you want the same for the same inputs, you can either implement it in any of these ways. You can create a series either passing it as a list and index as the whatever keys you have, or even you can easily put it everything into a dictionary, and that way that is the most straightforward way to create it with your own custom keys or indexes. So this is a different ways in which we can create a Panda series. Now we will see how we can access that using these indexes or directly the values. So now out of this just series 4.
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
Yes, so in the first 2 example, we saw that in first one, the data type is int 64, that is integer 64. And then in the next one, it is data type is object. Like why this difference is?
Yeah, okay. So basically what normally our numeric, if you know our Python first session where we saw the data types. So this data type actually stands for whatever is the type of the data in this column. So as we saw NumPy array or this Panda series, a particular column or a particular one-dimensional array has to be a homogeneous data type. So all should be of the same data type. Now what is that data type? So that will there is actually some rules in Python. So I will give an example here. So suppose my data is this will be automatically done by the Python interpreter. So if my data is 10, 20, 30, all are integers, it will automatically take it as int64 because all are integer types. Now suppose I had 10.0, 20, 30, then I have a float and 2 integer values here. So the Python interpreter will automatically take it as float and it will like increase the data type of the 20 and 30, and it will take the data type which is like most comprehensive. Now suppose I have like one string character A followed by 10, 20, then it will take it as type string. So type string is like basically denoted by an object. So this is how this type assignment for a particular column or values happens in Python. So this is how we need not worry about it. Or there is if you remember in NumPy when we learned, we saw that there is a command like as type, like some array you are having, then array name dot as type, If you can change it to float or string or int64. That way, if you want to something, so that way the conversion will take place depending on the normal typecasting thing that we think in Python. That like 43.5, if you typecast to int, it will become 43. So that kind of way. So that corresponding typecasting will happen by the interpreter automatically. So I hope that is clear. So basically here we are having string types. So because of that, the data type object is string, which is an object. And here we are having 234 because of that data is 64. So now suppose I had 2.0 here. The data type will be float 64. And had it one string also been there, A. Okay, then the index I will pass mate also here. One more index is required, mate. So in that case, the type will be object. So I hope your doubt is clear.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, so we will proceed with this series 4 something, 81 series. Series 4, we will just see how we can access different elements. So basically, we will be seeing indexing and slicing, like similar to Python list, how we can like choose one particular element or print a particular set of elements like that. So suppose there are different ways to access this particular value. One is I can directly call it based on the index to which it is mapped. So if you see this case, January, February, March, April are the index and the values corresponding to that are 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I want the value corresponding to index Jan, I can directly call it as series for Jan. So that will return me the value at that place, that is 1. So now you tell me what will happen if I call series 4 of 1. So what will be my output in this case from your knowledge of Python? What do you expect will come here at this point? You can just chat. What do you expect out of this series 4 of 1? Okay, we will just run it and see. So basically what will come here is 2. Because something that mostly people find confusing is that I have given a series 4 of 1 here. So some people will think that, okay, there is a 1 here. So that corresponding to that one, maybe Jan will get printed. Something like that, at least some of you might have got it out. So basically what you have to keep in mind is that whenever we are doing like this, we are using the index. So if my index is a named entity, if I directly pass it, so that will be like Jan, Feb, March, April, it will directly call that index. If I directly pass a number here, that will be like the numeric index, like 0, 1, 2, 3. So in this case, I passed 1. So I got the output as 2. And as similar to Python, all the index start from 0. So this is actually pretty confusing, right? So like these questions can come for MCQs and all, then we should be able to answer. But when we write bigger codes, bigger applications and all, if you try to use like this, it will be very confusing. Once your code grows into like many big data structures and all you are handling. So basically to differentiate between these two type of accesses, there is actually something called a indexing based on location. So that label based indexing as well as an integer location based indexing. So basically the same thing what you saw in these two is equivalent to whatever you are seeing here. That is series for Jan. You can actually put as labeled location of corresponding to index, which is labeled as February, and the series 4 of 1 similar to that it is January. Okay, I just changed it to some other indexing. So series 4 of 1 equivalent to that series 4 of integer location corresponding to index 1. So whenever you are writing code for pandas and all, you should like to try to follow the second thing, because if you write like this line number 15, 16, it will get very confusing to somebody who is going through your code. Whereas if you write code like using .loc and .iloc, you can directly know that, okay, you are accessing based on the label from this point, or you are accessing based on the integer location from this point. So if you run this, you will get output similar to this. I hope this part is clear, right? Because we will be using this loc iloc throughout, because that is part of like some Pythonic way of writing the code. Because you don't want the somebody who is reading your code to be wondering what you are calling. Because even if you see in our graded quiz and all, there are questions like this. The first part. So that thing you can find out easily if you try to think in terms of this loc and iloc. So that is the first thing that I would like you to keep in mind whenever you are writing code using pandas in Python. Always go for loc and iloc. Even in the new compiler versions and all, you will get some errors, not errors, warnings. Like deprecated things go for label based indexing like that if you directly try to access using this first type of method. Okay, then we'll move forward. Now here we took one index. Now suppose we want, so I will be mostly following loc and iloc only. So it will mostly work if you try this way also. But from code standardization point of view, I'll be following in my subsequent examples with loc and iloc only. So suppose I want two indexes, values of two indexes correspond to February and April. So I can directly pass it. So one thing difference you can note here is when I wanted a single value, I had only one bracket here. But since I had multiple values, indexes values I need here, I'll be passing it inside a two square bracket. So this means that I want to fetch a label corresponding to indexes which I am passing as a list. So actually what I am passing here is a list which contains the element February and April. So corresponding to whatever elements are there in the list, the labels, those labels will be used to fetch the values. So from this, out of this February 2 and March 4, April 4, both those I got as output in this case. So similar thing if I want to implement in iloc, so that is integer based location access. So that way same 1 and 3 will be starting from 0. This Jan will be 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I do 2 and 4, 1 and 3, sorry, 0, 1, 2, 3. 1 and 3, I will get February and April. So same output I will get in both two cases. So always keep the difference between loc and iloc because surely you will get one or two questions from this part. From not from series, at least from pandas data frame. Once you go to data frame, also the thing is one and the same. So that is the indexing part. Now coming to slicing. So suppose you want to fetch a chunk of data out of your series. So you say that you want the data from based on integer access from 1 to 3. So if you see here, one difference you can notice that here I passed from 1 to 3. So this is here whatever I am passing is similar to our Python list indexing. That is, I have to pass one count greater than the value that I want. So if I want two entries, I want to have 1, 2, 3. That is 1 to 3. So this upper limit or the upper thing of the argument will not be printed. So this is similar to our Python list. So that also is another thing that you can expect during questions and all. So if you print directly with loc, we will come here. So if you print directly February to April loc, so that is also similar to this 1, 2, 3 elements. You will get all three. Whereas if you print using iloc 1 to 3, you will get only 2 and 3. That is because in integer based addressing in Python, that is just similar to Python list. Element 3 is not printed. Whereas label based index, label based, all labels are printed. So that difference you can always keep because when I am going for labels, I am telling like I need from this label to that label. So that by default means that I would like to have both entries corresponding to both labels. But when I am accessing it with integer locations, so that time the accessing is similar to a Python list. The last entry will be skipped. Now suppose I want the alternate entries, then similar to Python list, I can use iloc whatever way I want. So that way I will get February and April. And same way if I do till 3. So this case, this explanation is similar to this. Why the 3, that is March, April did not get printed here. I hope that part is clear. So you compare and contrast iloc with the normal Python list accessing And the label based indexing is like a fully new thing where whatever label you give that will get printed. So that also is the second thing that you should keep in mind. Because at this point also you can expect 1 or 2 questions in whatever MCQ exams that you will be giving for Python and Pandas in particular. Then coming to this, there are some attributes of series. So we will just see what it is. So there is something called series 4 we are using, like series 4.9. Okay, so as you can see, it is an attribute, so that is not currently having any value. So I can name it as something. So I will name it as test, and then I print the series 4.9. So this way, now if I print series 4, I will get as name test here. Earlier, if you see, I got only the values series 4. When I printed, I just got the values Jan 1, 2, 3, 4 and data type. Like it was not a named series. But using this attribute called name, I can actually name my series. So when this will come in use is that suppose you are having a code where you are having multiple series, then you can actually access the particular series by name to check like if you assign some name to it, and if you want to check whether your input is some particular series, in your if loop, you can directly put if this corresponding series name equal to whatever this thing that you want. If you want to implement things like this name dot thing you can directly use. Now suppose you want to give a name to the index. So series 4. Let's first print it. Series 4 dot index dot name. Let's currently index is not having any name. So I will just give it as a name as months. Then if I print, as you can see the difference between these two. Now my index also got a name called months. So this also is similar to whatever I told before. When you are accessing a series, you can actually call the index by that name. And you have a graded question based on this. Okay, I will not tell the answer. You can just go through. Then another next thing is series 4.values. So that will give me the only the values part. So it will skip the index part and give me as output only the entries which are there in the values part as a one-dimensional array. Next thing is size. Size will tell me what is the number of elements. Since this is a one-dimensional array, there is only one element in one dimension in that. So that's why the size is having a single element. There are 4 entries in that. Now what is the next thing is series 4.empty. Will tell me whether a series is empty or not. Now it is having 4 elements, so it will tell me that it is false. If my series was empty, then that will return me true. So this can be used when I am in a code, I am filling values into a series, and at some point I want to check whether some entries have been actually filled into the series or not. Then that kind of situations I can make use of this series.empty attribute. Now coming to methods. We have some methods like head. We have only 4 elements here. Series 4. So head will print all 4. So by default, it will print the first 5 entries. And this you can pass n as an input to it. So that will print the first n, where n is 2 here. So it will print the first 2 entries. So similarly, there is a tail function that will also print by default the last 5 entries in your series. And that in if you pass, that will print the last 3 passed here, so it will print the last 3 elements. And there is another series 4.count. So that will give you again similar to size only. So that will give you the number of elements that are there in the series. Now you may think there is already a function called attribute called size. So then why it is having another function called count? So the answer there is for your understanding point of view. Suppose you initialize a series with 100 elements and by default assign all values as NaN. Right. So NaN, and if you print series that corresponding series dot set, you will get as 100. So that it tells you that how much memory is allotted or how much entries it can populate in that particular series. Whereas if you see the count thing, NaN is not counted. So if for the same case where you fill NaN in the 100 entries in a series, the count will return you 0. So count will actually count only the values other than NaN in your series. So that's the difference between the size attribute and the count method. So this will complete our discussion on series. So I hope this much is clear, right? Any doubts in series part? What are we covered till now? Because once we move to data frames, we will be making use of these same concepts in a bit more detail. So everything fine till now? Chats?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So we will move to data frame. So series, why I covered in this much depth is because most of these functions, methods, attributes we covered for series are common for data frame also. But if you try to explain it using data frame, you may become confused. So it is better to explain those things using series. So that's why I explained in detail. So when we go to data frames, I will be just skipping through those points mostly because I think you will be already knowing them. Okay. So if you need me to explain more, you just tell. Okay. So data frame